Never before in all our history have these forces been so united against one candidate as they stand today. They are unanimous in their hate for me, and I welcome their hatred.
The needs of working families, the middle class, not just the billionaire class. We know what's going on. We are paying attention.
Good morning, everybody. It most definitely is a Saturday. I'm not going to call it the end of the corporate age right now. I've gone back and forth on this a few times, but we're really seeing a lot of corporate power being thrown around in our government. And so it's the beginning of the end of the corporate age. It really should have put this the beginning of the end. It's going to take us a while. Thank you, Oz, already. 9:29. Thank you, sir.
He's got a wrench now. He's celebrating.
Because I saw him wondering what all the blue wrenches were, and so I guess gave him a wrench. Because why not? Everybody.
He's so excited.
Yeah. Well, wield your wrench. Be careful with that power. Okay. Don't abuse your power there, Oz. Yeah. It's not a power. The cover, just really quick. I posted 2 cover options yesterday in Twitter, and I was told to use the positive one. So. This is Parker Mankey did this. I don't know what the original is from, but I love it. It's Bernie riding a blue wave. Just remember, everybody, any old blue won't do.
No.
And we're going to talk about that because we've certainly seen some shifting in people that we thought were progressively blue, and they're turning out to be a little purple blue. And so that's not good. But good morning, everybody. Jeff and Melissa and Schultz and Froze Brom. And here's everybody here. We got the full Brady Bunch crew today. Got Deniz and Markus and Laura. Thank you all for being here. Laura with a cold.
I know. I'm not feeling really good today. If I go mute you guys, it's because I'm going to blow my nose or something.
Understandable. So thank you for letting us know, because that wouldn't be good for ratings.
No, I'm already disappointing everyone with my attire. So, but I got Willow the scarf, and we got Walter the sweater. So continuity.
The normal blowing.
What?
The normal nose blowing.
Yes.
Not the other blowing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
What? Is that a German thing? I don't even know.
That was some German. No. That was some German humor, and I'm.
It's a Deniz thing, I guess.
Okay. All right. I'm just not even gonna ask. It's just we're gonna. Good morning. Hey, who else is here? Barbara. Good to see you. Brian. Ima. So many people. If I misnamed Darcy.
Oh, I haven't seen Iman around. Iman in a long time.
So many people here. I have some quick things I want to talk about before we get into the big news, because I've become aware of some things that I wasn't aware of before, and now I'm very self-conscious of this. So we're gonna have to talk about this. First of all, about this show and kids. We put a disclaimer in here, letting everybody know that there's dick jokes and F-bombs and all sorts of language and things that go on here. This is not a children's program. Now, if you're like me, I took my 9-year-old to see the South Park movie, and then had to explain a lot of things, including clitoris. But that's your choice. I just, and there's some people. I mean, you guys know who you are. I'm not going to call out any names. There's some people who let me know recently. We watch UHM with our kids. And I'm like, God, why? But seriously, we do have other programs that are great for kids. This show is just a little more on the R level. And if you're the kind of parent that's cool with that, that's fine. I just want you to know that we're not going to change this Saturday show because now I'm guilty that there are kids watching. It's just that there are other things. And so the other part of this is I found out a lot of people are watching that I didn't know were watching. And so, wow. And thank you. It's not like there's a large number of people that are watching this show or our channel. But I think what's happened is more, I think it's just changed. The demographics changed, and there's people from Oregon that are paying attention. So thank you, people from Oregon, because we've really kind of recentered our focus around Oregon. And so I just wanted to say that.
Did you get asked to make the show child friendly?
No, God, no.
Okay.
No. This is just my observation.
Okay.
Second mention is just white men in power are mostly assholes. I just had to make that statement. And what we saw this weekend or this last couple of days with the Kavanaugh thing has just really shown that. And on that note, I'm not going to run any of the footage. I can't. And I told Markus that I deleted the footage out. We're gonna show a montage of memes because I thought the Revolution did a really good job of honing their rage over these whiny ass privileged white men and turning it into memes that just really made fun of them. Because we got nothing else we can do. We got to wait till we can vote, and it's either that or take to the streets. And until then, we've got rage on social. That's, or organizing together and we got a lot of assholes to get rid of in our government. Mm-hmm. A lot of assholes to get rid of. And lastly, in my quick notes, before we get into the montage, Oz in Washington, who's watching the show, Oz LaFlave. Wow, hi all 34 of you. Oz now has a full functional engagement broadcast studio at his place in Washington. He's actually got more facility space than I do. He's got more computers than I do. He's got a full Livestream Studio. He'll have Sony Vegas. He's got a computer that's as powerful as my main server, Eileen. He's got Scott. And so if you're in Washington helping progressives or working with the progressive movement, you have a massive resource ready to go. But Oz needs your help, right? And I'm not saying that you have to do anything like we're doing here. All right. The gear can be used to create live shows. Yes. And if you guys want to do what you did before with the Prague Wash show, that's great. But I think more importantly, work with the candidates, Sarah Smith against Adam Smith and other progressive candidates you got going on. I don't know who they are at this point, if there's anybody else really in the race against other people. But we now have a process that I can work with you on data, basically opposition data. And if we work with the resources that Oz has, we can create media that will inform the electorate. I'm not going to use the word attack, but basically it's going to lay down the facts about the opposition, about Adam Smith and where he gets his money and why he's does what he does. Right? This is the stuff that needs to get created for progressives that is not getting created. You have that resource now, so I really hope that those of you in Washington that watch the show will share this information, will contact Oz, and reach out to that ginormous group of Our Revolution folks that are supposedly up there in Washington, this massive number of folks that were on a list, and say, hey, we have this resource. Help us invest in this resource. Help us get some people. Oz needs a video editor. We need to find somebody in the Revolution who can do video editing. And look, if you need to get paid a living wage to do your work for the Revolution, we could probably fundraise for that. But we need somebody willing to donate their time like Ashley does, like I do, like all these folks do here, their time and skills to creating media for that. So just wanted to lay that down. Thank you, Oz, for your investment, because let me tell you, building one of these systems is not cheap. And Oz laid down some serious cash out of his life savings to do this. So really, Washington, go help him. Go work with him, because I spent several hours yesterday training, teaching him how to use the system, and I will teach him how to do everything that I do, and hopefully he'll do it a lot better. So anyway, that's that's that. The Washington group. I'm excited about that. All right, so that was that. I got my things out of the way.
Yay.
Yeah. Great news, and
it is.
It's great that Oz gets into business, to say it like this.
It does.
And I hope he gets all the help he needs.
I agree. Hey, all right, so I want to show you guys something else. I said I had new features. Here are your comments on YouTube. So I can do this now. I can show you. We need someone familiar with server setup too. Yeah, yeah. I can help you guys with that. So now what I'm showing you here is that Livestream Studio has finally done what we used to do manually.
Right.
I can integrate Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Twitter they already had, but they've just got a new system that does YouTube. And here's the thing that makes Oz even more valuable up there is that we can run a show on YouTube. Oz can mirror it to Facebook and engage in the chat there.
Oh, nice.
Right. Right. This bypasses Facebook's asshole rule of only being able to stream to them because they can't stop anybody from just screen grabbing our show.
Right.
So,
Sweet.
yeah. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. All right. Everybody that you see on this screen worked really hard at some slides to talk about some stuff today. And we're going to start with, what are we starting with? We're starting with the memes on Kavanaugh. Okay, so yeah, I just got to, we're going to look at some memes. But I got to say, I just can't run any of the footage. It just pissed me off so much. He's such an asshole, just a whiny fucking shit. And
not even the Pulp Fiction one?
Oh no, I can run that. No, I can't
Okay.
run. I will run all the memes. I will make fun of this man until he's gone. But I can't run any of the footage from the actual court hearing because I found the whole thing just to be gross and a complete sham.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Dr. Ford, it's just every woman. I understand. I can't even go there. I'm a guy. I'm gonna shut up. We're just gonna look at memes. Here. Here. This was one of my faves. Just babies. And surprised they don't have North Korea guy in there too going, it's a good one.
And the faces remind me a little bit of Beavis and Butthead, right?
Yes.
Oh my God. I need beer for my bunghole. This one I thought was good.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
I like beer. I still like beer. What do we got here? I like beer. I drank beer. We drank beer. The beer was sprung on me at the last moment. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Duff.
Beer guy.
Yeah, the new calf man, you know?
Yeah.
Just,
Oh my gosh.
this one's great. DSA guy, plaid guy.
Again?
Yeah, he gets everywhere. Almost as prolific as Christie, executive, judicial, and legislative branch. Just three ugly human beings that don't belong anywhere near power, and hopefully we can crush them all into the ground where they belong.
And watching this makes us clear we are nearing Halloween, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a stable genius. I couldn't get this one. And at this point, I just want to bring this one up because this is a little bit of a thing. It's not as bad as it sounds. Of course, the House, which is controlled by Republicans. This is an important point, though, for later on in the show. That when you have power, when you have control of a House or control of a Senate in government, you have the ability to push through legislation because that's what you're supposed to do, right? So the House, because they have the powers, like, hey, let's just take some more money from people and give some tax breaks to more rich folks like us. Okay.
Oh my God, I hadn't heard about this. Of course, guys, that's what we were talking about. A friend of mine talked about last night. It's like, okay, what went through while all of us were thinking about Kavanaugh, and last week it was the military budget.
Yes.
Yep.
That Senator Merkley signed.
Yeah.
Just question for you, Jeff. Are you going to walk the talk, dude? I know you're all riding high on your Kavanaugh thing and immigration stuff, and you're suing and all that, but you still signed on to the military spending, Jeff, and I'm going to call you out on it. Doesn't mean you're not going to get my vote. I'm just going to ride your ass because that was a mistake, and as an employee, you're going to get written up for that mistake. Make enough mistakes, then we'll fire your ass, okay? It's time for accountability, even with you, Jeff. You sound great, but when you vote for the military spending, you don't walk the talk, okay? That's it. But here, I just want to, don't worry about this too much. According to the article, the Senate isn't going to try to push this through because they realize they're probably not going to get it to go. All right.
So the House passed it, but it hasn't gone to the Senate yet.
Right.
Okay.
It's not going to, they're going to wait on this. They're like, we're screwing America enough at the moment. Let's give him a break while we push Kavanaugh through, because make no mistake, he will be the Supreme Court nominee. He will. They're not going to replace him. They're not going to pick somebody else. They're just going to take a pause, let the fervor calm down, let the media move on to something else Trump has done, and then they're going to vote for this guy. And you'll see Democrats vote for this guy.
I don't know. The time limit is 1 week, and I think this topic is hot for more than 1 week, and we will see what will happen in 1 week.
Well, it just depends if there's a hotter topic, like a mass shooting or some other thing like that.
Yeah.
It could just happen in the next.
But really, it doesn't. The Republicans have made it clear they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They're just pausing.
Of course not.
Jeff Flake, after being yelled at on an elevator, was like, you know what? Okay, let's do an investigation, and then we'll put him in. Go ahead.
Yeah.
And I'll vote yes unless something is turned up. It's like, what? Something hasn't already been turned up?
3 women. Reminder, 3 women have accused him of rape. They've only listened to 1. It's like... Anyway, here, we're going back to memes. Like I said, I can't just... It's just... Meanwhile, they passed a huge permanent tax cut.
And if you look at this, I think this slide, this meme, tells a lot, if not all. I think maybe we will never know what happened really 36 years ago there. But I think how Kavanaugh behaved in this hearing, and how aggressive he was, and how he clearly showed that he despises the Democrats. This, in my understanding, disqualifies him at this moment to be a judge at the Supreme Court who has to act independently. And what he shows was quite the opposite of this. What we can expect.
Right, but you don't hear the Republicans don't care.
Of course not.
And here, to your point, this was a statement by Benjamin Dixon, because this happened. Remember that Serena Williams was just, told she was out of control by a bunch of male asshole judges in tennis. I grew up watching John McEnroe be a complete whiny little asshole. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
and Jimmy
Connors, John McEnroe, and that was back then. That was exciting tennis when John McEnroe went off and called the judge a bunch of names and threw his racket down and his fro got all out of control. That was and now, but that was okay. That was John McEnroe being a man. When Serena Williams does it, she's out of control and it was a meltdown. Brett Kavanaugh, his manic tirade was called righteous anger and raw emotion. What was Ford's? She was simply telling the truth, but it didn't really fucking matter, and it doesn't matter to Republicans. All right.
No.
If you're a woman in this country and you're going to vote Republican, you are voting to kill yourself. Basically. They want to control your vagina, be it by rape or by abortion. They want to control your genitals. And I don't know why any woman on earth would fucking vote for a Republican. Laura, can you come up with any reasons? You're a woman. I don't know.
No, not for me.
Okay. It's like something they offer? Do they have anything? Dennis, are you raising your hand to speak?
I just want to say something.
Yeah.
Markus said judges are elected to be neutral. Mm-hmm. In Germany, yeah, but not in America. Let's see. Presidents suggest a candidate that's in that process alone, you see that they are not neutral. They have an agenda, and you see how much money is poured in this whole thing.
Yeah, but to my knowledge, it was not always that bad as it is today. And as I read in earlier times, there was much more cooperation between Democrats and Republicans to agree on a candidate. I might be wrong, but this is what my information.
And why can't the American people elect those justices? Why?
It's a great question. We elect representatives.
They elect a president, the Congress, and so on. But a judge in the highest court of a country, that's a fucking powerful position. and I, as a citizen, want to speak in my, let it be a vote or something else, to have influence in this, because this influence my life, whatever, what's going on. That's not right from my perspective, but
you have to elect your county clerks, which is the very lowest level of that. Like, you think it would go up. There's got to be something about it being a lifetime appointment thing.
Yeah, the lifetime appointment things needs to change.
That's the point. That's the point. You know, you can put them in place for 5-6 years, like in the Senate, and then there should be a re-election or a reconsidering. You know, somehow.
Right. You know?
Yeah.
I just want to. I can do this now. I can show YouTube comments, and Jilly Love says she could be lying, and I just want to address that. No, she can't. Okay, does everybody realize timeline-wise? She made her statements. She hired a lawyer. She went public with this before there was even a need to vote on this SCOTUS. She was trying to alert the White House when they chose him that
when she saw him on a list of possible candidates.
Yeah, so it wasn't like she went, oh, they're going after Brett, and I think I can fuck his life. She was planning on ruining her life to begin with. So was she lying? No fucking way. Were the other 2 women lying? No fucking way. I don't know why any woman would go through the incredible torture and horror that these men are putting them through for what? Political gain? Come on.
And John,
she's a college professor.
Yeah, unfucking believable that a woman would even have to prove that it's right. It just blows my fucking mind.
Yes, and the thing is that they are that all the images, all what happened, they experience the same situation, the same feelings again. You know, they had at this time, and it is very hard. And I have to ask someone: is it worth any money? You know, to let yourself set under pressure by the media, by social media. And if you don't want to get into public, and I think Dr. Ford is completely credible in what she said, and I believe her that she is not doing this for any purpose, be it a partisan for a party or to become famous. This is completely absurd to think, you know, and
Now, my mother's best friend taught with her at the university. Says she's an absolute straight arrow. She's not.
Jilly.
He's the real deal.
Soros funds, you're out of your fucking mind. I'm just, take your conspiracy theory that Soros made this shit up and stick it somewhere. That's just unbelievable. We're moving on back to this. There's a reason why I can't talk about this. I'm so ashamed, and I posted this on Twitter. I'm so ashamed of white men. White men in this country. You suck. You suck. White men in power in particular. Jesus, fucking pull your heads out of your ass. Pull your heads out of your fucking ass. White men. Good God. Just, I can't even go there. Here, more memes. I got to go back to memes. This one blew my mind because this was like an educational meme. I didn't even know what this was.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody know what this is?
Art, throwing Simon in the well?
Art majors?
Yes.
Aren't you an art major, Laura?
No.
Art history.
Art history. Do you know what that is?
Is that throwing Simon in the well or Simon and Bathsheba?
Is that, well, from...
Who is it?
I don't know the names of the people, but that's basically from, here, I have the wiki page. Hang on. It's from Timoclea of Thebes. Okay. But what they did was put, you check this out. They put Kavanaugh's head in there. Right?
Oh, okay. So, I see that.
Okay. So the story, I thought this was brilliant. Apparently the story on this, it was told, this was Alexander the Great era. Okay, back then. Yep. So his group of army sacked a nation, and the captain of the army murdered this woman's husband, and she tricked the captain into believing there was loot in the bottom of a well, and this is a painting depicting her shoving the captain into the bottom of the well, and the only thing missing is every single woman that this piece of shit raped or did anything to throughout his career needs to be the face of that woman in that picture.
And the captain did not only murder her family, he raped her.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now the end of the story is that Alexander the Great was so impressed by this woman and what she did and the way she presented herself that he was like, set her and her kids free. The guy died and he deserved it. So that's what we want to have happen. It's not going to happen, you know. And as to people being put in wells, so many need to go into a well.
Yeah.
This one was interesting. I didn't even see this picture.
I had seen that one, and that's exactly that somebody said, I want to commission a Baroque painting was the caption I saw on the picture. That is so classic.
God.
Yeah, look at them. I found this photo and it directly hit me, you know. This was clear the last dinner, you know.
Yes.
And,
supper.
Yeah. Bye, Froze.
The face
See
is
ya.
a woman.
Froze has to go.
Oh, bye, Froze.
Yeah.
See you, Froze.
Look, you guys, here's the thing. We're going through memes because the thing is that Kavanaugh is not fit. We all know he's not fit. And the joke going on with the government right now is that they don't care. They don't care.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable that he wouldn't get this far. Imagine the Dems putting somebody up that looked like this. They wouldn't. They wouldn't. Right? We're going to get into that because that's the difference between Dems and Republicans. Dems, when they have control of power, concede it. Compromise it, give it up, move backwards. Republicans, when they have power, are like, get out of our way and fuck you. That's the difference between the two parties. And the Democrats are like, well, the only way we're going to win is if we're taken from the same piece of pie the Republicans are, but pretending to actually care. And so that's where we're at with the DNC at the top. There's a faction of that in the Oregon government, and we're quickly removing them. They know who they are.
Yeah.
And
Republicans.
What?
Republicans know that they only need a certain amount of pressure, and the Democrats, will bow them.
Exactly.
Will bow to them.
We see it all the time, right, Senator Merkley? Here's another one. This was the one I was going to use for a cover. There's nothing photoshopped here. That is the faces of all those women, while Kavanaugh is.
Except that gal over on the right was the one who was doing the white power sign during his earlier hearings.
Oh, well, maybe she's even more pissed.
She's looking a little bit serious, but the other ones are like, what? Like they smell something.
I'm not sure, but the women on the left side, aren't they his family or something like this?
I have no idea. I don't know.
They show the disgust about the complete hearing. I think it's like that.
Yeah, I don't know who they are. It's just.
Are you losing your freaking mind, Brett?
Yeah. Thought, but that pretty much sums it up for me. This is basically who we have running the country right now. It's a bunch of idiots, white privileged assholes that think they can do whatever the fuck they want. Mm-hmm. And we got to get rid of them. We got to get rid of them. It's Laura, as the only woman on the show right now, do you have any comments or things you would like to say? Because it's really more about you.
You know what? I've been sheltering myself from this a bit. Since I work in an all-women office, and all this week we've all been watching Twitter, and it was just the collective rage within the women I work for has completely overwhelmed me. I believe her. I think that everything else is going around is just our circus shit show of a government as usual, and I'm just getting, I'm getting immune to it. So yes, there is rage, and I will manifest that as I vote and who I support, but I can't get into the collective scream about it. I just shake my head.
Yeah, that's all we can do. Well, I apologize on behalf of all white men in America.
Me too.
I think if I may add one thing, for me the striking point was the moment when he got asked by Dick Durbin for I don't know how many times if he personally would agree to an investigation by the FBI,
right?
And there came nothing, silence. And I think this was a moment, in my opinion, where he was unbearable as a candidate. It was the latest drop on everything what happened before, in my opinion.
Agreed. It's just it's pathetic.
Yeah,
it's pathetic. I'm while you're talking, I'm trying to set up the final meme because it's the chili.
And also the
Oh,
senator.
yeah.
Oh yeah! Wow.
What, Dennis?
The senator from Vermont, Mr. Leahy, proved that he lied in the previous hearing. So
It doesn't matter.
that's
Yeah.
it.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
It is only 1 week, and
What the fuck? And you call yourself the biggest democracy on earth?
No.
What the
No,
fuck?
We don't. No, we don't.
I never heard John
We
say
never
this.
said
No,
that.
Dennis.
No. I'm not talking about all guys. I mean the normal folks that I hear on Twitter, Facebook, and so on. Yeah.
No, that would just be the MAGA folks. There's-
Yeah.
Okay. All
Oh,
right.
Julie says, well, she says elites are not used to being told no,
I know.
and parents get them out of trouble.
You're absolutely right. They're not used to being told no. It's just a bunch of spoiled. We got a bunch of spoiled, rich white dudes in government, and they need to be replaced by working class citizens. It's really what it is. It's no, and honestly, it's no different than the French Revolution. It's no different than let them eat cake. It's just that it's really confusing who the monarchs are because we got a bunch of resistors that really aren't doing much. We'll talk about that too, like you, Andrew Gilliam. Anyway, one final tribute to Kavanaugh because he is such a monumental piece of shit. And this is a beautiful meme put together by Chili. And it's from
brilliant.
You'll recognize it. It's brilliant. You know who I saw post this that I thought, holy shit? Ron Howard. Ron Howard posted this. He was like, brilliant.
Yeah.
Here we go, everybody.
Now let me take a wild guess here. You're Brett, right?
Correct.
I thought so.
I got into Yale Law School.
Check out the big brain on Brett.
It's the #1 law school in the country.
You're a smart motherfucker, that's right.
I had no connections there. I got there by busting my tail.
Looks like me and Vincent caught you boys at breakfast. Sorry about that. Did you have it?
Beer. I still like beer.
You mind if I have some of your tasty beverage to wash this down?
Sometimes I had too many beers, but I did not drink beer to the point of blacking out, and I never sexually assaulted anyone.
Yes, you did! Yes, you did, Brett!
He is warm, friendly, unassuming. He's the nicest person.
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
I DM'd that to John yesterday. You probably had already seen it, John, but it was like, oh my God, we have to play this tomorrow.
I'd seen it like
Wonderful.
5 minutes before you DM'd. I was just like, holy
Okay.
shit, this was going around. And
Yeah.
I did a post on Facebook and I just said the memes going around for this POS are inspiring. Thank you, Revolution.
Yeah.
If you want a non-violent way to turn your absolute rage about the shit show that our government is, and memes are a good way. Memes are good. Media is a good way. We are doing a lot of damage to these folks in media. And I just want to, something else that happened. Apparently recently, a couple things. Ted Cruz and his wife, believe that. Ted Cruz has a wife. He has children. Ted Cruz has made kids. I just can't believe that. Anyway, they were at a restaurant and they got booed out. Yay. Congratulations to the people who didn't just pick him up by his feet and kick him to death. All right? Ted Cruz is a monster. And so I encourage everybody to be as uncivil and lack as much decorum as possible. When you see one of these shit-stained politicians in a restaurant, boo them out of existence. Boo them to their cars. All right? Because we're like this far from literally stringing them up in the trees. And they need to understand that. They need to know that we're like, we're going to try this democracy thing in 2018 and we'll probably push it to 2020. But if we can't get what we need by then, y'all are going down. The American public is so close to just marching en masse on D.C. And I see that being talked about a lot more. So I hope that mainstream media picks up on that vibe, and I hope that all these analysts within the DNC and the GOP pick up on the vibe that the American people are done with the shit. We're done, and we're coming for you. We're coming for you. I'm excited about that. So the thing about Beto was that he's looking good to win. Yes, he's a completely compromised Democrat. Still makes him better than Cruz, but he is a compromised Democrat. And he was like, I don't think it's nice for people to be booing Ted Cruz out of a fucking restaurant. Well, I don't think it's nice for Cruz to vote to murder people around the world. And I don't think it's nice for Cruz to vote to frack the whole fucking planet. And I don't think it's nice for Cruz to be okay with kids in cages. So I think booing his ass out of a restaurant is perfectly fine, Beto. Why don't you have some spine? Why don't you encourage the progressives to continue to do that? Don't be milquetoast, man. Centrists are worthless. Right, Andrew Gilliam? Right? We're not there yet, but I just had to go. That fucking pissed me off. Pissed me off. Just anyway. Before we talk about some other news stuff, because we're going to go into the DPO show. We talked to Valdez Bravo about some other things, and there's some other news. We're going to talk about German stuff. I told Markus he could have German stuff. It's all right. I gotta please the crew. I want you. There's some links. All of these links to this stuff is in the rundown. It's in the description of YouTube. Go to the YouTube, click on the links, because there's important information there. And there's two links that I want you to go to. One is mapthemoney.org. That's the website that we've been working on. And there's some content up there now, kind of some demo information and stuff that you can look at. And the main page is actually what I want you to see. This is a screenshot of it. And yes, we've got a lot of work to do on it. When you go to mapthemoney.org and you click on the second tab, U.S. House, this is the demo that we're building. Or I'm sorry, that's not mapthemoney.org. That's the website. There are two links in the YouTube. Next to Map the Money is a link to a GitHub link. The GitHub link is what I'm showing you here, and this is the functional code that we have created. Okay. You can click on each of the 5 reps, and you'll see more information about their money in sector, industry, and individual. But the what's on the right is what's more important. That's a list of their vote record, and it's just a sampling of the votes from VoteSmart. But what's important about that is that you can see right away when a Democrat has voted with Republicans. You can see when one Democrat has voted different from the other Democrats. And this is important with our 5 U.S. House reps, because we have one Republican, Greg Walden, that we're trying to get rid of with Jamie McLeod Skinner, right? And we have 4 Democrats. I put those in air quotes, Democrats, because we have Kurt Schrader, who's more like a Joe Manchin Democrat. He's willing to sign on to just about anything that Trump wants. And you can see that in his record, that Kurt Schrader says yes to a lot more of the Trump legislation. You'll see him voting with Walden. There's a few times where you see Pete DeFazio, who's my rep, right? Pete DeFazio has voted for some things. And you're like, Pete, what's going on there, man? It looks like you chose business over the environment, and that's against the party platform, which is where I'm going with this. The party platform is the rule book for our reps. And when your rep isn't following the rules, it's your job to call them out on it, all right? Because they're not going to follow the rules if they're not told to. How many employees follow the rules if they don't know what the rules are? Employees don't give a shit, right? No. So we are management. These are employees. Mapthemoney.org and the GitHub link are going to show you what we're doing there. And I'm waiting for Cove, because we've got a lot of updates to do on the code and on the website. But when this is done, we're going to be able to hold our reps a lot more accountable in Oregon. And it's for the purpose of having better employees. As I told Valdez, and we're going to run some clips, I don't want to fire everybody. You can't run a government if you fire everybody. But you definitely got to have your employees following the rules. Got to have your employees following the rules. I'm going to run the second Valdez clip, because we talk about this. If you didn't catch it, it was the Get to Know the DPO show. We did another one on Sunday. Thursday. It's Thursday. Thursday at 6. And we had Valdez Bravo on. And he was awesome. We talked about the platform, the party platform. We talked about the LAIs, the legislative action items, and the reality of how many of those are actually going to get accomplished. And what I've discovered in looking at I say, what I've discovered, like it's something new and interesting. It's like, well, what I found digging around my government is that they're not operating based on the rules. And we create these rules, the party platform, right? They define how the Democratic Party of Oregon wants its representatives to conduct themselves. And that includes things like you need to work to stop all LNG projects in Oregon, right? And we don't want you taking fossil fuel money. Stuff like that. Stuff like we want you working quickly on clean air. Listen to this discussion with Valdez, because I think you'll find it interesting. And then we talk about Democrats that just aren't following the rules, and whose responsibility is to fix that. Yeah, yeah. All right. So that's the top 5. I want to, like I said, I found many of them that dealt with fossil fuels, dealt with clean energy, and that was really cool. And I just want to, now I've got some, we'll go back to my other questions, but questions about working with our reps when we see like, hey, we asked you not to do this, you still are, what's up with that, right? And so here's LAI 20. This is where the fun starts. And this one I thought was pretty important. Prohibit the development of Oregon waterways and coastal regions for offshore drilling and the transportation and export or import of fossil fuels and fossil fuel derivatives, which would include LNG.
Yes,
right?
liquid gas, yes.
Yeah. And we have an issue going on right now with Jordan Cove, which is a proposed LNG terminal. And most progressives, and it should be Democrats, should be opposing this terminal. And I say that because Larry kept saying on shows, we've been against this for a decade. We've been against it. There's been a resolution for a decade. And he's right. There's been a resolution for a decade, everybody. So my first question about Valdez Bravo is, what are resolutions and what good are they? Because this is the resolution that basically says, we don't want you, we want you actively, this is from 2008, and it specifically mentions Jordan Cove Energy. And it says, we don't want you guys doing this. No. So what are resolutions for?
So as you mentioned at the start of the program, resolutions are non-binding. They are a call to action. They're a statement of values. And they can be used in a variety of ways. You know, if I'm calling up my local legislator and asking them to to oppose or support something, I can use the resolution as, you know, some ammo, so to speak, for saying, hey, the Democratic Party of Oregon says this. That's what I'm about. I'd like you to vote in line with this. It can also be, you know, if they're going to propose bills and legislation, they can use that as something for them to support their argument. The other thing is it is kind of a precedent in terms of what comes later. So if something comes up in 2018 and it flies in the face of this, people can pull up the 2008 and say, hey, look, we passed this. You guys forgot, you know, this is recent history. And so it can guide the decisions. Like at the DNC, they passed a bunch of resolutions, and well, maybe it's a bad example, but,
because they immediately decided they needed to go back on one of them.
Christine Pelosi, who's the daughter of Nancy Pelosi, Christine from California, she submitted a resolution. I believe Travis Nelson, our own Travis Nelson from Oregon, was a co-signer. They basically said we oppose taking corporate PAC money from any entity that does not, align with democratic values. So, NRA, big tobacco, big oil. And so later on, when you're making decisions, you can point to that and say, hey, look, this is what we passed in October. Now, unfortunately, the executive committee of the DNC gave themselves a kind of a moderated just a bit to, we'll take money from the workers in oil industries. And that's a big conversation on its own. And the executive decided to do that, which again just goes to show that the DNC, although they made great strides in the recent reforms and whatnot, they're still pretty much a top-down organization, and we need to, as progressives, need to keep getting involved and coming to the table and sending progressives to these positions to push back and make it up the bottom-up organization we all wish it to be. But they are used as a precedent, and again, it's a statement of values. It is aspirational, but we do expect our leaders to follow suit. On this one,
so I'm going to stop there because we go on and talk a little bit more about this. And Valdez is in an interesting position, right? He's the first vice chair of the Democratic Party of Oregon, and so he's not under question here. Just want to make that clear. Valdez is coming on to help kind of explain the way things, quote unquote, work with the top of the DNC, and as he sees it as a member of the DPO and the first vice chair of the DPO, he's well aware. He is well aware that there are things not happening that need to be changed in both places, right? He's also like in that Bernie place where he's like, well, if I'm gonna be in here to make the change, I have to work within this mire to make the change, right? And so he's cautious with his words and what he says, which he needs to be, right? I don't have to be. I don't work within the DPO, and so I owe no allegiance to that. But I am a member of the Democratic Party, and what he's saying, and what the most important aspect of this is that we create resolutions because that's how the party feels. All of us, right? They're voted on. Right? And when we had the platform, that was 511 people from the entire state of Oregon that made these decisions about how they want the Democratic Party to be. Here's what we represent. Here's what we are. Here's what we expect our representatives that we're paying money to do with. Here's what we want them to do. Here's what we want the state of Oregon to look like under Democratic control. All right. And the legislative action items are the items we want the Oregon House and Senate to address first. And healthcare is the #1 item. And basically clean energy is the #2 item. That's literally what you got. You got two priorities: healthcare for everybody in Oregon and clean energy. The reason I'm going off about it, this is because you end up getting what we've got going on here with, I talked about the resolution anti-LNG that was done in 2008. This is a recent article from September 22nd of this year talking about the campaign money that Jordan Cove LNG has donated to a number of Oregon Democrats. Now, you can, here was the excuse, right? And even better, the Oregon the House or the Senate, the legislature, passed their own resolution to justify taking fossil fuel labor money because we can't not support labor. And it's interesting because Valdez and I had a discussion about this before, and he said the same thing that I'm going to say right now. Okay? And that is, I don't see why any of our Democratic reps can't represent anybody in Oregon without taking their cash. Why do you need their cash? Isn't your job to represent these people regardless of their cash? Why can't you tell the fossil fuel industry workers, you know what? I value your life above your job. You should too. It's kind of a logical order of things. So I'm not going to take your fossil fuel cash. Why don't you save that for your own medical bills? You're going to need that because you work in an industry that kills people. And I'm going to help you transition into a clean energy job because that's my responsibility according to the rules set forth by the constituents that pay my salary. My job is to push you into a clean energy job and stop fossil fuels in this state. That's really what we've said. But we have a lot of Democrat politicians. I can't touch the Republicans. But with the Democratic Party platform, we, all of us Democrats, can ride the asses of every Democrat that is violating the rules right now. And if they're using the labor excuse for taking fracking money from Jordan Cove or LNG money from Jordan Cove, you can tell them, you know what? I want a rep that's willing to represent me without my cash. And if you're not willing to do that, I'm going to replace you with a rep that will. And the person I want to address specifically is a guy named John Sweet. I need your help, everybody. John Sweet is running for commissioner in Coos Bay. He's a county commissioner. Coos Bay is where they're going to put the LNG project if they can get it to go through. The same LNG project that we told them 10 years ago we don't want. Right? This is Jordan Cove. It's been going on for 10 years. You know how much money they've given John Sweet? He's a county commissioner. $20,000. They've also donated $40,000 to a PAC that's got some bullshit name about caring for Oregon. Remember, I've talked to you about these PACs where they're like, oh, we care about Oregon, but what we really do is care about raping you all so that we can make more profit. That's basically what the Jordan Cove PAC is. They've handed out hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it's amazing when you look at the list. So John Sweet, running as an incumbent in Coos Bay, and my guess is the Democratic Party of Oregon is going to give him money and back him. And if you're a member of the Democratic Party of Oregon, I advise you to email them, contact them, reach out to your rep and say, I don't want John Sweet receiving a dime of Democratic Party of Oregon money because John Sweet is not following the rules. You know who else isn't following the rules? Ginny Burdick. I'm sorry, not Ginny. Ginny, I'll leave you alone for right now. You're doing other things that are bad. You're a senator who's holding back legislation. I don't want to confuse my bad Dems. Okay. Kathy McEwen, $15,000. She's a Democrat, Coos Bay. Basically what they're doing is the way the pipeline needs to flow, they're finding the reps in that pipeline and they're lining their pockets with money. It's disgusting. It's against the laws of the Democratic Party. And I encourage every member of the Democratic Party of Oregon to contact their reps, contact the party directly, and say, what the fuck do you think you're doing? Who the fuck do you think you are backing these Democrats that are taking LNG money when we've told you implicitly no? And the main point of my statement here isn't to rally everybody up and to go off. It's to say the only way we are going to get the party to do what we tell them is to ride their ass until they give in. We only get little opportunities to fire these people when we have general meetings or when we have a vote. Until then, we need to be on their ass about the shitty job they're doing, about the money they're taking, about the votes they're not passing. That's our job as managers. And the more I dig into what's going on with the DPO and the reps in Oregon, the more I realize how far away we are from a truly progressive Democratic Party. We have a lot of language that says we're progressive. We don't have a lot of Democrats actually being progressive. I want you to walk the talk, Jeff Merkley. Walk the talk, my friend. Stop voting for the MIC. Stop giving Trump what he wants. Walk the talk, dude. I like you. Let's keep you in office, right? You need to do better. And all of these Dems on this list need to do better. I'm talking to you, Brad Witt, right? And Betsy Johnson, she takes money not just from, she takes oil and gas money. Violation. It is a violation of our party rules. But unless we call them out on it, they don't give a shit. They're just going to take the money and run. It's our job. Our job. Recall John Sweet. There's a Defeat John Sweet Facebook page. Go find it if you're a Dem in Oregon. Sign up for it. Join them. Help them. I want to make sure this guy does not stay in office. He's taken a shit ton of money from Jordan Cove, and we have the power with this media network and our people to take him out. Let's take him out. No John Sweet. All right. Lastly, on the Dems, Tom Perez is just a worthless freaking tool. Just an absolute worthless tool. And the fact that they would even back Dems that back Kavanaugh. The fact that there would be Dems that back Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
If there are Dems that back Kavanaugh, you're going to lose your job. You're going to lose your job. Excuse me, everybody. Anyway, that's going off. Where are we at in the chat?
He's doing a perfect job.
Yeah?
Perez.
I think Tom Perez is doing a perfect job.
Do you now?
He's exactly doing that for what he was appointed by Obama and Hillary and so on for the DNC.
Yep.
If we had Keith Ellison, I think he would probably say a little bit, he would be a little bit different.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But not a lot.
No. What do you guys say?
We have to be
Not as much
good
as we would want.
liberals. Be civil. Shut the fuck up.
I'm just
Throw a spine.
I'm just reading chat, everybody. Is there anything going on in chat? I missed a bunch while I went off there. So.
Oh, Chile has something interesting. A name Haskell in Oregon is being charged with environmental terrorism for putting up signs.
I've heard about that. I need to find more information on that.
Yeah.
You can get me a link to an article. That would be great. The article I was talking about the LNG Cove, the Jordan Cove money, that's in the description as well. That's from Oregon. What is it? Oregon Live. Yeah, Oregon, the Oregonian. So find that, share it, because it's just getting buried, right? Talking to you, Rep. David Gomberg, Central Coast. It's not a lot of money, but it means that those people are invested in, all right? And all they have to do is vote no or no vote, right? Or not even take up a vote, which is what's been happening with Jordan Cove, right? So, got that. Are we on to Nomiki already? Are we talking about that? No?
We had that one slide about Andrew Gillum.
Oh, yeah. I said we were going to bring this up. You dropped this in. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, well, this came up. Remember a couple weeks ago, right before the Florida primary, we were like, oh, and here's Andrew Gillum, and we played his video, and he sounds cool, and he sounds progressive, and yay. And then the next day he won, and like, wow. And then immediately starts raising eyebrows with backtracking. First on, instead of saying Medicare for all, he was talking about affordable access to healthcare, which is, what code that is. And now we've got coming up this week, he's going to be, Hillary Clinton is going to be campaigning with him. I mean, my comment in Green Room is like, he really probably can't say no. And so she ups her progressive value in her marketing team's eyes and completely taints him. Whether he was, really supports her or not, he really can't say. And then he's doing something with Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Michael Bloomberg. And it's like,
yeah.
So he's keeping the wrong company.
He could have done what? Even if he had done Hillary and Tim, that would have been
right. Put Tim Canova in here, please.
Yeah, but Debbie, I mean, seriously, dude, lost all respect.
What have they got on him? What have they got on him? And what is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a creature. Yeah, a creation. Is
Oh, is he a preacher?
No, a creature.
Oh, creature. Okay.
A creation in at least some of these, they're too good to be true candidates who come out and say, oh, they've just, they've got everything and they seem to have a lot of money. And I mentioned him to my daughter because she's thinking moving to Florida, and she says, well, we're going to wait and see what happens with governor. And I said, what about Gillum? Because that's what I just heard about.
Right.
And she's like, oh God, he takes Soros money, and it's in his, like, if you go in there and it's like he's quite heavily bought with he's not grassroots.
No, I mean he got a big donation from Soros Cash. I saw that. But remember, everybody, he was mayor in Tallahassee for a long time. He's been
not with a particularly pristine record there. I think there is some criminal investigations going on to his staff or his cabinet. So I don't know enough about that. But it's sketchy all over the place.
Yeah, he's a Beto Dem. Right?
Yeah.
Looks good on the outside, and then you start realizing it stinks underneath. It's just
better than what's there,
sure,
or lesser of two evils. So it's like okay, people. It's almost like there's a whole faction that's saying, okay, if we can't keep our hands in with our traditional candidates, we'll slip someone in there that we still control, but looks better, and we'll keep our power.
Right, right. And what's this? Who dropped this? We got this.
This is for me. I say when I read that, I said, "What the fuck? You're running for governor in Florida, and you're bringing up this?" And he says, "For sanctions against dictators and who support them are great, and so on." And I replied to him, "What the fuck are you talking about? Sanctions mostly hurt the population, and are designed that the population, the society, rise against the government to overthrow them, and mostly the end result is a right-wing extremist authoritarian regime." So, and then I listed a photo with all the thing the US did in the past, and it's not the end, and it's still counting. We are watching. They're trying to find a reason to invade Iran, and I think when they do this, hello, World War III, my opinion.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, we don't know why he's started to talk with the warmongering stuff. I don't know what this is about. It's just
in the worst case, it might be the country Donald thinks to attack to make sure that he is reelected. No, we don't. He has a sick mind. We don't know.
Definitely has a sick mind. It's He won't get reelected without a bloody revolution. I don't think that'll happen.
Oh fuck! We forgot about Medea Benjamin, the clip. We should have put it on when she got in an press briefing when she talked about what the U.S. did with Iraq and so on. She's from Code Pink.
Who?
Medea Benjamin. Do you know her?
No.
You heard from her?
No. But
bring it in next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bring it in next week. That's fine. I don't want to. The thing is, Governor of Florida shouldn't be talking about foreign policy anyway and making warmongering statements. He's got a completely fucked up state he needs to work on. Focus there. Focus locally, Andrew. Don't set yourself up for 2020 already. He's already thinking big there. Going to run on a Gilliam Hillary ticket, right? There we go.
Yeah. Oh God.
Jesus, that'll be a good Dem win. Like, yeah, put a black guy with her. That'll work. Yeah.
Guillory. Oh God.
That's no shit. Oh, you got raining there, Jilly, where you are. Good for you. Hurricane Rosa is bringing in its tropical wetness. We'll be talking about the warmer, wetter world that we have that is getting flooded all over, including the tsunami that has just wiped out a bunch that most Americans they don't know. Holy shit, did Tim really? Oh, he should rescind
for the primary.
But he's upset about it now. So because he really had quite a different message in place before the primaries, and he started almost immediately, rearranging.
Holy cow! Yeah, I was just reading the chats here. Who was saying that? Brahm was saying that Tim's no fool. I mean, so if Tim thought he was worth endorsing, and if Tim was willing to put his name on it, then holy shit! I mean, what an ass.
Yeah.
What an ass Gilliam is. But this we're seeing it with the we are fighting a monster that doesn't, one, believe in playing by the rules, and two, doesn't care. They just don't care, right? It's a corporate.
I saw a tweet from Jess Phoenix today talking about her experience running, and she's like, you can get these great people, stepping up and with the greatest of intentions, and they just get crushed by the money machine, and in so many ways. And she had firsthand experience with that, and I see that. These grassroots candidates just Dianne Feinstein can just click her fingers, and 100-pound weight falls on your head.
Yeah, it's frightening. Yeah.
But we're ending on a high note, because this is the Nomiki thing. So something the progressives are doing, and Nomiki Konst has been everywhere. She's part of the Democratic Reform Commission for the DNC, so she was involved in some of the changes that came about on the platform. And so she's running for New York City. What's
was it Advocate?
Advocate.
Which I don't know what that is.
Yeah, New York City Public Advocate. Well, the clip tells us what it is.
All right. Well, so here's Jimmy Dore and Nomiki Konst, and I just want to thank both of them for remaining hard progressive and not backpedaling like other supposedly progressive celebs have done in order to keep ratings or whatever. Here we go.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Jimmy Dore Show. I have a special guest with us. It's Nomiki Konst, and you might know her. She's an investigative reporter, writer, talk show host, regularly appearing on national media outlets discussing politics. She was also a member of the Unity Reform Commission in the DNC, and she's here today to discuss the recent New York primary, and she's got a special surprise for us. Welcome back, friend of the show, Nomiki Konst. Hi, Nomiki.
Hey, Jimmy. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you here. Now, let's go. Let's not bury the lead. You have some news that you want to share with our viewers, right?
I do. And I'm excited that you are my first broadcast interview where I'm sharing this news. It's going to be kept secret for a little bit. So at this moment, it is not public. But by the time you guys are watching it, I will have declared myself a candidate to be the next public advocate of New York City.
Wow. So now tell us what that is, the New York City public advocate. Now, wasn't Letitia, I'm blanking on her. Now she's the new Attorney General, right? Or she won the nomination for Attorney General. She used to be the New York City Public Advocate, and that seems to be the job of a progressive. So tell us what that job is and why does it lend itself to a progressive?
So Letitia James is the current public advocate, and she is now moving on to a general election for the New York State Attorney General's position. If she wins, the position will be up for grabs. But my intent is to run no matter what for the next time, the special election. The public advocate is a fairly new position in New York. It was created in 1994. The first public advocate was consumer advocate Mark Green. And there have been 4 public advocates since in total in the history. Prior to Letitia James, it was Mayor de Blasio. And Betsy Gottbaum was before him, so 4 in total. Now, what the public advocate was intended to be when it was created was just what it says, an advocate for the public, somebody who is there separate from the mayor's office, separate from the city council, to put pressure on those two, to push forward goals that represent the public's needs and interest, to be a check on the mayor and the city council and other government agencies. It's not quite a comptroller, which is another form of a check and balance. It is there to represent the public's interest. It's like a public interest person for the city. And unfortunately, I think people more recently have seen it as a stepping stone for the mayor's position. That is not my intention. I think that this race in particular is significant because we are at this unique point in history where income inequality in New York City is worse than anywhere else in the country at the worst point in the U.S.'s history. So we got to deal with that. It's not being dealt with in the appropriate way. We need bold progressives in this position, people who are unafraid to take on special interest groups and the establishment and the machine. And I think that I'm the right person for that.
So can you give me an example? Like, what are some of the things that the public advocate can do as a check, a check on the mayor or the city council? Like, what would be something, for instance?
Well, I mean, really, the position, it has a little bit of authority, but not a tremendous amount. It's kind of what you make it. The public advocate does have the right to sue different agencies for not upholding, maybe there's a problem, maybe it's public housing and there's some issues. They do have that ability, but it is not an attorney general's position, meaning you do not have to be an attorney. Bill de Blasio is public advocate. He is not an attorney. It has the ability as a well-funded government agency to put forward campaigns around certain issues. So say we want to pass single payer in New York City, Medicare for all. That's just an example. We could do a whole campaign around that to pressure city council, to pressure the mayor to back it. There's quite a bit you can do with this office. There's a lot of flexibility. A lot of creativity can be used. I think from my perspective, I will use it to continue doing kind of the work that I've already been doing, investigating areas where there are major problems. NYCHA, the public housing here, has a lot of issues when it comes to lead paint, not building enough public housing. I would be unafraid to go down and look at the contracts to see, how we're picking certain, pieces of land and contracts and which real estate developers are being used to work with in the city. What are the relationships? It's also a position where you can inform the public about what's going on in government. So one of the ideas I have, it's very basic, is to create a grid of who are these people who are getting the government contracts? Who are these people that are funding your politicians? And where do they connect? Especially when it comes to big projects that are in the news all the time, but we really don't know what's happening. I'm not afraid to go in there, bring a camera, do a story for the public to see. In other words, doing what I've been doing for the last 10 years.
Wow.
That's awesome. Kind really cool.
Yeah. I think that we can stop there probably.
Yeah. Yeah, I grabbed it there. Just another run. That's So it's kind of sounds like a mini version of a lieutenant governor.
Or attorney general. I mean, it's a person who is at the representing the people level and advocating, and she's good. I mean, Nomiki can get in there, and she walks the talk and knows her stuff. I know there was issues with her when she supported Hillary right after the primary, but she really backed off of that when she realized that wasn't the way to go. But because she had been part of the DNC committee, she needed to support who the DNC had installed, right? At least
Yeah,
at the beginning.
I guess.
But once the election was passed, she could feel free to be, fully progressive again. I'm impressed with her. I always have been. So it'll be interesting to see what she does with that. And that there's a great entry point. Don't run straight for Senate. Be a public advocate.
Yes.
Get some experience.
Yes. And honestly, that's humbling and smart of her, because as a entertainment individual, somebody who's known, that's exactly the kind of person to think I can run for senator. And it's not about who you are, it's about how many people you know in the game at this point. And so like you said, a smart move for her. And I've outside of endorsing Hillary, she's kind of separated herself from TYT and from the other milk toast.
They didn't mention that at all in her introduction.
Yeah, she's not with them anymore, right?
No.
And I think so that speaks to.
She wasn't with them for very long, I don't think.
No. Although a
lot of people came in and went pretty quickly from TYT.
I DM'd her. You know that, right?
Yeah.
I was like, hey, Nomiki, I heard you're not with TYT. This channel is always available for you. And then I laughed. I'm like you need us. Never mind. Ha.
But she's replied back. I think that we actually had a dialogue
she
going.
She never replied back.
Did she?
Her and I talked 2 years ago.
Maybe that's something.
2 years ago? I sent her some information on something that basically it was the fairness doctrine, and I think it was that. I sent her information on stuff, and she said, this is really cool. And this is when she was working with TYT. She's like, send me more. And then we never talked again. So.
Okay. That's what I'm thinking of then. Okay, whatever.
But I like the fact that she's willing to use her journalistic, very Bernie. Because Bernie was an independent journalist and did the same kind of advocacy as mayor and whatnot, did press and stuff. Shows you look back in the 80s and 90s, and she's planning on using her media skills, it sounds like, to advocate for the people. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
So,
awesome.
right on.
Yeah. Jilly, I agree. We need to vet in the background, but I think we now know how to vet socially. You know what I mean? And we can expose people on the web. All right. Excuse me, I got a tickle in my throat. Marcus, you want to take the tsunami?
Yes, I'll take over the tsunami. Yes, and today happened something very terrible in Indonesia. There was an earthquake followed by a tsunami, and we have a video about this, what happened, and the latest count coming from Huffington Post says there were at least 384 people killed in this natural disaster. And to give you an impression how heavy it is to get into a tsunami, John, can you please run the video? There's the second wave. It's already in, and the second one is really heavy and frightening.
Look at that! Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And the people who are filming this are obviously on some kind of tower, and they're in panic.
Yeah.
Understandably.
Oh my God! Look at that. Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
I hadn't seen the end of this. I'd only seen up to the point where it hit.
Here we go. Yeah, and there's a wave coming from another perspective.
Oh my gosh.
And the people in the background, they are praying to Allah. And yeah.
Habis gempa
Yeah, this is what's left from what we saw before.
Wow.
The roofs are hardly visible anymore. And, yeah, it's gone.
Wow.
And he's praying.
Unfortunately, I can't listen to the audio while you guys are talking as well, so I can't hear anything. I'm just looking at the video. It's frightening.
Astaghfirullahaladzim. Astaghfirullahaladzim. Ya Allah, astaghfirullahaladzim. Astaghfirullahaladzim. Ya Allah, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Yeah.
Well,
this is terrible.
That was from the 28th. So that's from yesterday.
Yes.
That happened yesterday, Human. By the way, hi, everybody. A whole bunch more people here, and I haven't mentioned your names, but thank you for joining us. There's a ton of people here. That's just that's frightening.
Yeah.
It is.
That's frightening. I mean, and I don't think people understand that climate change is destroying our planet all over the place, not just coastal U.S.
Yeah. I don't know in how far there is a climate change involved in this. An earthquake can always happen, and a tsunami in this. We've seen this already, you know, and it doesn't. Well, it doesn't change the dramatic and all the suffering of the people over there, you know, and yeah, it is ridiculous, but it seems to hit always the poorest people, you know.
Yeah, yeah, it's. That's and I only mention climate change because we're already under duress, right? Those are natural disasters that just happen, right? And we have things going on. You know, these areas of the world have already been inundated with abundant amount of rain or a drought, right? It's just extremes, and we need our resources to deal with the regular natural disasters. You know, not the climate change enhanced versions. Right?
Yeah.
And right, absolutely. There is no climate change that has caused this earthquake, but you know, there are other places where earthquakes are being caused because of our climate change actions, like fracking. Right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But like we can say, we can develop the best technologies and so on, but against nature, we are fucked.
Yeah. That's nature doesn't. Yeah. It's. Unfortunately, it will affect the poor first. Until a lot more rich white people die or are affected directly from climate change, we're not going to do much in the U.S. But I think that's changing.
Yes.
You know, with what's going on. How's the weather over there in Europe? You guys normalized, or y'all?
It's normal. It's right now.
We still have sunny afternoons in the morning. It is getting colder. This is normal for the season.
Yeah. Eco Sutra. Learn to swim. Yes. It's a wetter, warmer world, isn't it? And that's what it means. This is from anything else you want to add to that, Markus?
No, I think everything is said about this tragic incident, and
there were at least 384 killed after the earthquake.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure the damage is.
Just say more than words.
Yeah, they do. This was the cover. Now, let's see where it's at. I wanted to run. What are we doing? There's a lot of slides. Oh, you got a slide here, but is this old? Or is this new? This is new.
No, this was your topic. This is from your link.
Okay. I think this was old, but that's okay. Or maybe this is from last week.
September 17th. So.
Oh yeah, so it's
10 days ago.
Yeah, it is. It is.
We haven't been on it 2 weeks.
I know we haven't been on it. It's crazy.
It's still fresh. It's
crazy. But I don't want to go there yet because I had one more climate thing to talk about. I had this. You know, if you're not familiar with what's going on with the United States, I watch a lot of Weather Channel. Everybody, the Weather Channel. You know, they're covering the climate weather. They don't hammer that it's climate change, but they definitely spend a lot of time talking about how climate change has changed the weather that already exists and how it has enhanced it. This article, America's 1 in 1,000 year rainfall events. I want you to watch this video because it explains how that term 1 in 1,000 year event is bullshit. It's actually a term that was created. It was, I don't know where we came, how human being, I don't know where it came from, but it's not accurate. Listen to what this guy has to say, and then I'll tell you what he doesn't say in the video that's frightening. So here, this is the Weather Channel guy. I guess it's going to be a commercial first. Sorry.
Waterproof your deck with Thompson's Water Seal. Protection, simply put.
Use hemp oil instead.
Ever heard of a 1,000-year rainfall event, a 1 in 1,000 rainfall event? We actually had a couple of them this year already. This was one of them, Madison, Wisconsin, a little bit over a month ago. We also had several spots that had a similar situation in Hurricane Florence very recently. I want to just explain what that means because I think a lot of people don't understand it, and even I had to kind of dig into this a little bit because it's very confusing. So a lot of people think that a 1 in 1,000 year rainfall event means that it only happens once every 1,000 years. The technical definition is that there's a 0.1% chance that this area would see this much rainfall in 24 hours. Okay, get it? 0.1%, 1 in 1,000, so somehow we got the word year added in there. But anyway, that's what the whole thing means. These spots that you see in pink, these are all the spots so far in 2018 that we have had these 1 in 1,000 year rainfall events, if you want to call them that, or basically the 0.1% chance that you would see that much rainfall in 24 hours. All those spots in pink, several of them from Florence. We had the one in Madison. There was also one in southeastern Colorado, one up in Michigan as well.
Okay. What he doesn't say is that that's not normal. Okay? Right. Oh.
This year,
yeah,
right at the beginning.
I had your audio muted, Marcus. Sorry, but yeah, exactly. They had many of these. I'm trying to find where it says it down here. At the very bottom of this article. Gosh, where did he put it? I can't find it. I'm not going to be able to find it in here. It's really annoying. Buried in the article, they basically say, we've already had, I don't know, 9 or 10 of these events in this year. That's way too many. That's what extreme weather is. That's what climate change does. We shouldn't be having this many a 1 in 1,000 year, whatever you want to fucking call it, rain events like this. Every record is being broken. That's not normal. That's not normal.
And it makes no sense anymore in the first place to talk about a 1 in 1,000 year event, you know, if it happens more than 1,000 years.
Right, right. And my favorite, Governor Roy Cooper of I think it's North Carolina, it's either north or south, pretty sure it's north. He was told about sea level rise. He was warned about what was going to happen. All right. And I believe he's the one who made a statement recently, when you see more than one 500-year flood in a year, you got to think, right? Maybe Roy is going to think about climate change. I don't know. Maybe North and South Carolinians will think about climate change a little bit more. Maybe when the environmental bill comes across your ballot, you won't say no because you don't want your tax dollars going to that. But it might be cheaper than having your complete home replaced or having your insurance company deny your coverage because your entire home has been flooded, right? And it's also got pig feces in it now because you've done nothing about the environment of your state. It's kind of fitting that the states that have really screwed themselves environmentally are kind of getting the brunt of environmental damage right now. I got to be honest. It's fitting. Apologies to all the people in those states who are fighting for environmental justice. You got to elect people who aren't pieces of shit. And specifically North and South Carolina, which did nothing to even prepare for climate change. Nothing. They've done nothing to prepare for sea level rise. And what's interesting that I also found out is these communities. This is where businesses are profiting off the crisis. Right? Every time a rich white person's beach gets wiped out, the taxpayers spend billions to rebuild that lovely section of beach for the rich white folks. So all the poor folks in the state foot the bill so the rich folks can have their beachfront property back again after climate change, increased weather has destroyed it. And this is going to happen over and over and over again. So, should be interesting. It's just no apology. This is a war they are going. They are guilty for following the Russian lies. Eco. Okay, I lost you. What we're talking about there. Greenland will be last to melt in the Arctic Circle. That's interesting. There's land under there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Eco just earlier said that a glacier in Russia has melted so fast that Russia is awakening. I think maybe.
Oh, really?
Referring.
That's interesting. I mean, I know their entire Siberian permafrost is basically sinking into the ground.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm kind of excited as a, somebody who likes science and stuff to see what comes out of our million-year-old stuff, right?
I'm not that curious, to be honest, John. No.
How about everybody in the audience? You guys interested in knowing what kind of, diseases and monsters? There's articles about that. Horses showing up. They're finding all sorts of frozen stuff just popping up out of permafrost. It's really cool.
Bigfoot.
I'm all for that. Maybe I go there. Anyway, where are we at?
Yeah.
Oh, and then I switched to this shot. Nobody wants to see this. Eesh.
Okay.
Is this Trump entertaining Germans?
Yeah, this is Trump. We have a clip for this, and
yeah.
Yes, and I want to say this is the proof. This is the final proof that Germans have a sense of humor. Run the clip, please.
Yeah.
All right.
Germany will become totally dependent on Russian energy if it does not immediately change course. Here in the Western Hemisphere, we are committed to maintaining our independence from the encroachment of expansionist foreign powers. It has been the formal policy of our country since President Monroe.
Yeah.
Was that it? Was that it?
Yeah. Would you add more? I think this was complete nonsense. And yeah, they were smiling, and to be honest, the excitement about Trump is gone, and it is. You see the faces; they are amused but bored by Trump.
I wish I'd seen this screenshot. That's it right there. Germany listening to Trump. Like, who is this Dumkov? He's making no sense.
The first one who is having his hat on his fist is our foreign minister, Heiko Maas, and yeah, he's enjoying this, And
they're just look in utter disbelief that America elected this clown. It's amazing.
No, they're getting used to this, but they are bored. They are visibly bored about the bullshit he's talking about.
They're getting used to it. They're getting used to America's retarded president. Okay.
We had 2 years' time to get used to it, John. And not only we Germans. You saw the other clip. Everybody knew has watched it, where he was referring to the progress, and the United Nations start to laugh at him.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Just little facts about our energy mix. We get 13% from Russia, gas.
Yeah.
And we have 35% of our energy is from renewables. So fuck off, Trump.
I don't even know what he was talking about. He just makes shit up. OPEC, it's bad. Yeah, I mean, whatever.
He was talking about the Nord Stream pipeline, and which should transport gas to Germany and all this stuff.
Yeah, well, you guys are working faster at dealing with climate change. I love this. Grab them by the midterms. I just wanted to throw it out.
Yes, this is from a women's march, and this is my take from what happened this week around the Kavanaugh hearings. And from my perspective, from Europe, from Germany, it would make me wonder if we won't see a blue wave, not a blue wave, but a female wave in the midterms in November, because it is unimaginable how pissed women must be in America with the situation, what's going on there. It started 2016 with all the bullshit around Trump and grab the pussy, and later with Roy Moore, and we have countless incidents where he proved that he is not only an anti-racist, but he's also anti-female. And I think the point has reached now, and we saw this last week, the lots of protesters the weeks before during the hearings. I think the point has reached that women won't accept this anymore, and I hope to see a lot of them at the ballots in November.
Agreed. You finished just in time for me to get the shot up. Yay! And I realized I skipped something here. Laura, did you want to talk about the 626 Bernie crash? Or was that you?
That's not me.
Not you? So, see, I'm very out of it, guys. You want to talk about this as well, Marcus?
I'm not into this, but yeah, it proves what I said before. I went roughly through the list of all the candidates, who are now in November on the lists, and I roughly counted. I think it was for the House of Representatives, it was already more than half of women running for those offices, and I think this is absolutely great. We need women power. We need absolutely women power, because, as John said, the white male, in my opinion, politician trash is done. The time is over, and we should prove this in November. You should prove this in November.
Agreed.
I do too. So that's a list to watch, especially as we approach the general.
Yes,
it is. I know I kind of bounced around. Laura, is there anything else you want to touch on?
Oh, I saw Yuko's thing about Hillary Clinton being on Murphy Brown.
Really?
Yeah, the opening. Murphy Brown is coming back on, and then Hillary Clinton does. It's like, oh my God! It's like
they're going to try to revive the entire '90s just for her.
Well, Murphy Brown was coming back, and that's been in the news for a while. But evidently, has a cameo in the first one. It's like, okay,
good
well,
for her.
Sure, so I will not watch it.
Maybe we could just keep her on a sitcom and leave her there. That would be great.
I just wish she would just go away.
I know. I don't know why she's still messing with our democracy. I know that Trump deregulated methane, but it wasn't being regulated very well anyway, so it's no big deal. What else, guys? What else? We're on to the what's coming up, bylaws, and out of here. Are we really there?
Yes. Next week on UHM. Yeah.
Holy shit! Wow. Jimmy Dore and MSM are not counting state and local progressive wins.
Yep.
Huh. There's a lot. That's true. There's a lot of local wins that are happening. There's a lot of stuff going on just right here, right? And there's a lot of people that we're trying to push that may or may not be the best progressive to run, but they're what we've got, right? And then it's our job to ride their ass after.
2018 is our practice election.
There you go.
We're just getting in here and getting started and showing what it's like, and 2020 will be a really interesting thing to watch.
It will be. The most hated woman in the world get a TV show. Julie loves that. Interesting. People in power do what they want with their power, and we got to take it from them.
Yeah,
that's really what's going on here. We got to take it from them, and it's hard to know who to trust, and it's hard to know, what to do next, because you've got all sorts of factors happening. And I appreciate everybody that's still donating. That money keeps this network alive for what we do. We are working on stuff. Larry returns soon. I don't know, a week or so. I'm hoping.
He returns.
He might not. He might just be like, I'm in France. Why would I come home to that hellhole? And I would.
Oh, yes. Okay. You might consider this.
It's like, if Marcus may be like, I'm hiding Larry in my basement,
I can deny any context, and if I'm lying, I won't tell you.
Be hiding American immigrants from our evil empire. That would be quite yeah, exactly. Kevin Hart's movie sucked. Didn't even know they made a movie. Yeah.
Oh, guys, please watch the new Michael Moore documentary.
Oh, yeah.
11/9.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It describes everything.
Huh?
Where did you see it? Did you go to the movies?
Yeah, I saw it.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
That's great.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Brom, if they bring back the 90s, can they bring back Carl Sagan and George Carlin? Yes.
Oh, yes, please.
Those things would have to come back.
Please.
What we won't bring back is the music.
No.
I'm not taking any of that shit back. Sorry.
Come on.
I love the music in the 90s.
The Scorpions were not that bad in the 90s.
Marcus, just say that.
Or the Eurowave and techno and song which I grew up with.
80s.
Wow. Bring it back.
We're going to skip the 90s.
70s.
Yeah, that's fine.
Best rock.
That's fine.
In the 70s.
And honestly, the music that happened in the first part of the 2000s was crap too. So it's just, anything that had just all there was a bad time. It was a dark time in music between like 95 and 2005. It's a horrific time in music.
You think so, right?
I really do. I thought grunge was garbage, but that's just me. I grew up as an 80s guy, right? So my 80s music was great, and then grunge comes. I'm like, what is this shit? This is shit. Nobody wants to listen to this. Now I'm a big Foo Fighters fan, right? The evolution of grunge, right? So, anyway. And I love George Carlin, too. Yes. Rage was... There was some stuff in the 90s. Okay, I'm not going to complain. I liked plaid. I liked the plaid. I liked my hair. Long hair. That was part of the 90s, right? Snags. I was a sensitive new age guy. That was a 90s thing. Right?
And you loved your air guitar, right?
I had a real guitar, man.
Sorry.
It was the 90s.
Me too, so.
I was a long-haired drunk. I had my guitar. Anyway. What about Wham? You guys are going.
Schulze, come on.
Wham was in the 80s.
What about, exactly. What about?
Wham was 80s, yeah.
And yes, this show has devolved just because. Where are we at here? We're next week on UHM because we've really run a long show. Holy crap. I didn't realize that. Sorry, everybody. We'll get you out of here. What is today? Saturday. Nothing going on tomorrow. All right. I encourage you to look at VoteSmart. Go to VoteSmart. Find your rep on VoteSmart. They're all there. And take a look at their voter record. And then bug them about it because you're going to find shit in the voter record you don't like. And if you live in the Coos Bay area or anywhere along the Coos Bay pipeline that Jordan Cove wants to stick in there, and you look at your reps. Because my guess is if they're a dirty Dem, they're taking money from Jordan Cove LNG, and we have ways to stop them. Right? We have ways to call them out on it, and we need to do that. This is what it means to be active in our democracy. Right? We can bitch and moan on social all we want, but until we take action, we really can't do anything about it. Robert's Rules of Order bylaws is coming up on October 7th, I want to say. It's the next thing got going on, and we're probably going to do a Progressive Oregon show before that, but that'll be Larry putting that all together. These are the bylaws. Bylaws are super important. Bylaws are the rules within the party. So there's a state level bylaws, and then there's county bylaws, and there's bylaws for all your organizations. The DSA has bylaws. Green Party has bylaws, right? Somewhere the Republican Party has some rules. I don't know. So bylaws are important because they're what allow the DPO to hold information back if they want, right? There's things in the bylaws that provide power to us. That's what they're supposed to do. But if the bylaws are written weird and if people weren't paying attention, then what they really do is provide power to those already in power. And so know your bylaws, find out what they are. And you as a voting body in your organization, you can go, hey, everybody, this bylaw seems really dumb. Why do we have this? I want to make a motion to change this bylaw and rewrite it. Right? That's like the step one of making sure your party, whatever it is, isn't corrupt. Read your bylaws. All right. So we're going to learn about that. We're going to talk about these things. Here in my car. You guys doing songs? Gary Newman?
You know Gary Newman?
Yeah.
Cars.
Cars.
Did you know that he's he has Asperger's?
I believe it.
Yeah, it makes sense from And
I heard a little blurb on Slacker about that, and apparently he got obsessed with cars. And that's why he wrote a song.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So, yeah.
Nobody can say this is no educational show, you know.
Yeah.
That's right. We educate. We had the dude in the well, right? The dude in the well painting. Come on.
You're right.
Right? I mean, that's educational. And memes are art, everybody.
Yes.
Let's just, memes are art. So if we're going to get to call everything else art that everybody wants to call, like scrapbooking, then we can call memes art, right?
Yes.
So there we go.
Not craft. Well, there's craft as well.
Okay, there's craft. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Both. And commentary.
This makes our occasionally F-bombs, I think, also a kind of art, right?
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
But true art protests and fights against the power and norms. All other, this is what I call art, meaning music, painting, books, poems, whatever. This is true art. And in this time, artists have to do this.
I see. So when we get back to a full renaissance, we won't have to do this crap, huh? All right. I got it. Jilly Love, just a quick mention about Musk. Are you talking Elon Musk? Because he's all over dirty. That whole FEC thing and what's going on there. Yeah, I've lost my.
You're not a fanboy anymore?
No, I was a total Elon fanboy until he turned out to be a big dickhead. And he lied, and you can tell what the whole thing about him with the FEC and they've got him under, or SEC, I don't know which it is. One of those ECs is looking at him for violating rules and stuff, and it doesn't surprise me. I'm done with him. Really sad about Elon. What? Yes, Marcus.
Before we go to the music story time, I would like to greet Katie.
Oh yeah.
Because yesterday I had the pleasure to meet her and her brother. We met at my city here in Düsseldorf. She was there for a family event. And yes, we had dinner together and enjoyed the evening, and it was great. And they can see, we are drinking wine and water. I had the water, Katie the wine, but everything was civil, of course. And if you see the T-shirt I have there, it is a T-shirt Larry bought for me, and he brought it to Paris a couple of weeks ago. And Katie was so nice when she met him that she took it to me.
That's awesome. Glad you guys could meet. See the resistance, the European the European revolution. There's no resistance. Let me take that word out of there. My apologies. The resistance is trademarked. We're not allowed to use that phrase.
Nor would we want to.
Nor would we want
to.
That's awesome. Glad you guys could meet and got that picture. And Deniz, you're going to what used to be Constantinople, right?
Yeah, Istanbul, maybe. I don't know. My family and I are debating where we go because we have in both cities, in Istanbul and in Ankara, the capital of Turkey, we have houses there, and we are discussing where to go. So yeah,
that's awesome. And hopefully you'll be able to.
Maybe I will took some pictures, maybe a little clip or something. Yeah, you will see.
Well, what's interesting is I asked Deniz if he could do a Zoom from there, and he said not if I want to stay out of jail. So. Just know that there are places around the world where censorship is a little tighter than the U.S. And Deniz is going to go to one of them. But hopefully he'll get some pictures, because if there's one place I would love to visit, it would be Turkey. I mean, the history is just insane. You're right there around that area is basically that's a lot of history that we've blown up for oil.
3,000 years of history.
Oh, beyond that. You know what I mean? Just beyond that. But still, yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing stuff. And the number of religious entities that have plopped their stuff there, just, it's on top of each other, literally.
Plopped, yeah. Layers.
Believe in this God. No, this God. No, this God. This God. It's pretty much, yeah.
God damn it.
Either way. What?
Are we done?
Oh, yeah, we're done. Sorry. I'm just, you guys, you keep bringing up shows. Soap was not the 90s. Soap was the 80s. You guys know that, right? Soap was like late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
So get your errors. I mean, I hope you know that right there. Get your errors right. I like Soap too. Soap was a good show. It was groundbreaking. Did a lot of stuff on that show. So Anyway, we are going out of here because I know everybody wants to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Valdez Bravo with the DPO. Much respect for the guy. He's working his butt off as a progressive within the system, and he's honest, and he's doing a great job, and I thank him so much. And he turned me on to this guy who I'd never heard of. So I'm like feeling really like a totally uneducated white suburban dude who's never heard of Charles Bradley, who is apparently a well-known soul, and you know, it's just an amazing singer and had a really hard life, and it kind of put the soul into his music. And yeah, so we're going to play this song from called The World Is Going Up in Flames, which I thought was rather appropriate. You know, it just seemed to fit. It's either going up in flames or underwater, or, you know, so
yeah.
Be safe, everybody. California, still, you guys got your problems, and we all do. Istanbul is now Constantinople. Mm-hmm. Thank God for pop songs for teaching us all that history, right? You know. Also an '80s song. Also an '80s song, everybody. Okay. So the '80s was a good educational time. The '90s just went to shit. It's just garbage. Anyway, let's get out of here with the song. Thank you so much for being here, everybody.
Thanks for watching. Have a great one.
I will not be here next week, but the boys will carry on without me.
That's right.
Yeah, we'll be
I'll see you in 2 weeks.
That's right. Here, I got to get this queued up right, because the video for this is pretty sweet, and we can run the full video so you watch this. Go read the history of Charles Bradley. Just wiki him. The link's in the description, and it's pretty fascinating what this guy's gone through. Markus, Deniz, Laura, thank you so much for all you do and being here. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everybody in the audience. Get out of here.
See you. Bye-bye.
Go revolt.
Be revolting.